as we proceed to take a look at her response to me, made in early February, about 6 days ago now, 2024. What kinds of things are we naturally looking out for when one is in my position? Someone standing in my shoes, what is he looking out for? And how is he assessing the response that comes from the mother? Well, that's the number one thing. We're going to assess the response to see if it appears that in the substance, that the spirit behind the message is that she is truly sorry, truly repentant, truly having a conscience, admitting fault, and taking responsibility. Proudly admitting that she's wrong. See? That's it. That's step one. What does she write? Hi, thank you so much for writing back to me. I really appreciate it. Your well being is the most important thing, and we should concentrate on it now. Okay. 50-50. Let's see. I will listen to all your videos as a sign of respect. Wow, that's amazing. That's the best thing I've seen so far, actually, truly in a long while. That counts for something. Actions count. She's willing to do that. That's how to do it. She says further, once I'm done, in probably a week or two, we should talk or meet. Uh-huh. So, funny, look at overall how short this email is, and then also back again to her idea. Once I'm done, then we should talk or meet. Should we? Are you sure? How do you know that I think you deserve that? No, she just decides, yeah, we should talk or meet. But let's just give it the benefit of the doubt, because we could still give a slight one here, that she's suggesting that we should, or that we could, or that I ought to consider it. Okay, so we'll consider it. We proceed further. She says here, just want to let you know that I always want the best for you. This won't change. But I've seen this line in previous places where, because of context, it stuck out in a weird and wrong way. And then she says something interesting here. Look at this and the insinuations of this. Now things take a slight turn here. And she says, I see a lot of misunderstandings and wrong conclusions being drawn. Really? By who? Not by you. This isn't you saying, I'm sorry, I am guilty of having had misunderstandings, and therefore I'm wrong, and I'm sorry because of it, and I'm sorry for having drawn wrong conclusions. No. Guys, believe it or not, this is mind-blowing. She literally was doing okay for 2 or 3 sentences, and then here comes the snake back out again. Yeah, I see a lot of misunderstandings and wrong conclusions being drawn. By who? She's implying by you, as if by me, in other words, that I'm the one who's making the wrong conclusions. Hold on a second. You can't accuse me implicitly of having arrived at wrong conclusions. It's a serious thing to say to somebody, especially if you're trying to apologize to them. So this isn't making sense now. You see how insulting this is? What else does she say here? This, your wrong conclusions, implicitly your wrong conclusions and your misunderstandings are what, as it states here, this is what makes everything look not the way it's supposed to be. What? Really? As if it's my fault? Here we go again. The gaslighting begins, this fucking stupid woman. And then furthermore, the spirit of division is definitely present. Yeah, you're trying to give me a hard time, son? Oh, you're guilty of having the spirit of division in you. Yeah. Never mind that the mother puts me in a mental ward improperly against my will. When I come back, doesn't talk to me for 5 months with believing that she's right to do so as a mother. Yeah, who has the spirit of division? And then when she comes back here and I say, no, what the fuck? She goes, oh, you've got the spirit of division. Pot calling the kettle black. It never ends with these types. Narcissism, cluster B, never ends. Always inversion mechanisms are always running that are addicted to inverting things consistently. So what's her next line? Listen. Spiritual cleansing and getting rid of negative energies is highly recommended. Oh, God. You can't make this shit up. Somehow she went, and it takes nothing. It's so easy to just flip it in her mind. Listen, I'll listen to all your videos as a sign of respect, but really, in the frame of it, I'm still telling you in substance that I still see you and your whole paradigm, my son, that the real problem is with you. So you'd better spiritually cleanse yourself and get rid of your negative energies, okay? Because I'm the pure one here. Help us, sane people of this world. Help us. I'll get back to you soon. Stay well, blessings. And a happy high five now. Cha-cha, girl. Cha-cha. What are you fucking kid? Why am I subject to this insanity? Why? This is fit to. God help us. God help us. So now already you guys could probably see, wow, yeah, this is not something to say to your son. So obviously we could all see how the son in this position, me, would be not so happy to see this. But what are we gonna do? Of course, give her one free chance of like, well, right back to say, okay, this is why what you're saying isn't making sense, and do you want to fix it? You want to try again and make it a little better? Okay, but if she comes back again with something that's like not quite squeaky clean perfect, that's it. You're done. This is then goodbye. Then you're not deserving. What's she gonna do? Of course, in her mind, probably. Oh, flip it. I am deserving. So you're wrong for saying I'm not deserving. The cuckoo never ends. They don't understand. Help us, God. Oh my God, and everybody else, please help us. You know what? Before I proceed to my own response, I'd like to bring in, via reference and incorporation, the entirety of what Anthony actually wrote most recently to my mother before he eventually signed off on the whole issue. Now, mind you, I'm having a problem with Anthony in my own way, as was mentioned. This is going to hopefully get worked out, but nevertheless, Anthony, when he was writing this email to my mother, he really said it right. I'd like to share what it was that he felt was necessary by that point in time to say to her. Because this is also within context, the operative contextual thing that all this is taking place within. This is the real framework. Let's go find out and see. I don't believe she ever really wrote back to him fully on this. So that's why I think it's important to raise what Anthony wrote to her, because this is left unanswered, which, keep in mind, it's essentially left unanswered. And then he basically had enough of this. I could understand a little bit why he was upset. He made the wrong choice because of his upsetness and his anger. So he's responsible because he also offended me in an extension, and that's not cool. You don't do that, Anthony. But let's take a look at what he wrote to her and see where he might be right and what any reasonable woman in her position should be processing and seeing and figuring for herself how to adjust herself if she's seeing this coming from a man in Anthony's position. Let's go check. He shared with me the email that he sent to her. He said to her, "Hello. You, Barbara, said that in an email to me recently that, quote, because we have completely different views on it and couldn't agree on it, I'll try to bring a third independent person to solve this dilemma. If this person will decide that I'm wrong, I will definitely apologize to him. How about that? This is the biggest problem which we can't agree on." This is a mention of what my mom said herself, that she would turn to someone to bring in her own witness, where the witness will be assessing it. Okay, that's what I want. That's what I would be cool. Except guess what? Wake up. Anthony's telling her, fucking woman, I've been the third party fucking objective person here. What the hell you mean you're gonna... I'm looking at this. I've already been involved for a year, meeting with you people multiple times. This is insulting to him. What the hell? He's like, I've been an objective party and objective third party person, objective person, who took about a whole year's worth of time to look at the fine particulars of the issues between you and John. Furthermore writes, from the incidents listed before that have been major issues, I heard both of you guys out, and you haven't provided much evidence, Barbara. You haven't provided much evidence or explanations in order to counteract or challenge those claims that John has made. except that you alleged that he lied somehow about something, or that he was wrong, but without any explanation or proof. So from the way I see it, you're wrong in these situations. Ah. He furthermore continues to state that, and this is very important. You know what? He may not be actively as a witness working with us from now on. He had two chances, but I don't know if I'm going to bring him in again because it's not working out. But this is important to incorporate as a record from his own time as witness to kind of carry this over to be this understanding. This is where this man came to. Let's keep reading. He says to her, Barbara, I was asked by John to be a mediator or moral witness in this case, this moral case or controversy between you guys, and we all established at the beginning of this over a year ago that I would hear out and judge objectively on these issues. You originally reached out to me telling me about some issues between you and John. You reached out to me, Barbara. You did. Huh. And you implored me to become some kind of intermediary, choosing to involve me. Initially, going over John's head even initially. So that's mind-blowing too. So, as he continues to write to her, I've told you my conclusions so far. That's right, he did. And I've been open to hearing any of the counterclaims you would make. At this time, not much has been done to convince me otherwise, that your actions have been wrong. You haven't convinced me otherwise. And you haven't told me anything of substance for almost 14 months now. How the hell is this possible? Can someone please aggressively go to this woman's door, knock on her, and just be like, why are you abusing your son? You stupid no, and shake her. 14 seconds it should be over, not 14 months. But he's still pissed. He continues. He says, that is your responsibility and your fault for not providing that. He's right. He says to her, furthermore, it is the lack of substance that I must go on. Is this lack of substance by you that I must go on then when making my determinations? Of course. It also occurs to me that if you had something of value to say, you would have said it by now. You people get it? He continues to state that while it's your prerogative to turn to an additional person to supplement for some kind of understanding, number one, this is slightly disparaging and somewhat insulting to me, because this makes it seem like you view my own take on this matter somehow as insufficient or that it isn't correct. And the amount of time spent on this being, basically, I ended up putting all this effort in for nothing. Yeah, I do feel bad for the guy in this aspect. He continues to write here that, but somebody else's take on the matter, according to you, would essentially count much more than mine would? Huh. Funny. Kind of insulting indeed. He says here too, after the amount of time and effort put forth by me trying to help solve these issues, I implore you, Barbara, to consider how it is that I came to the conclusion I did. Maybe he has a brain in this regard, that he's figuring it out correctly and seeing it correctly by perception. I say he is here. He furthermore states, number two, it's possible that relying on a new person will take you another year at the rate you're going at, and that we've all been going at. And that if the same information is brought to them that was brought to me, it's more likely than not, as he furthermore continues to state here, that the same answer will be presented to you from them as was presented to you by me, that it is you, Barbara, who's wrong, and not John. You get it? Stop. How long are you going to run away from the truth and deny the truth? That's how these types act. Figure it out. He continues to state to her here, another year that will have essentially gone to waste. How is that fair to either of us, to John or to me? He likes his time too, you know. And he says, how much longer before any real progress is made? This doesn't seem reasonable. She appears to be stonewalling. I completely agree. I documented how she was stonewalling tremendously, both in her early phases from October 2022 through May of 2023. Again, from May through August. Almost 98% of the time she's been stonewalling to delay 14 months. Then she comes out here, what, I don't have my free reconciliation now? You see the craziness? Women never make sense when they're in the wrong orientation in their mind and morality. Not good. Let's continue. You know what's amazing? You think about that Adam and Eve story. Eve is portrayed as the one who took the wrong advice from the snake. She didn't do it for Adam, she did it for herself. Adam then was approached by Eve in turn and suggested to take the apple. You know why he did it? He did it for her. Out of compassion. That I would break what I knew to be God's rules, but I'll do it so that she doesn't feel bad that I would split and divide from her. Even that has a semi-moral framework. Get it? Her moral framework wasn't any moral framework. It was only, oh, yeah, sure, I want to be like God. That's great for me, right? That's helpful because that makes me better. And then I could be of a better power, which is good. Fake. Cuckoo. But it's interesting because it tugs at the differing natures of man versus woman.
We'll go back to you. You said, yeah, but why would I want to be with a bum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say that again. What did you say?
Why would I want to be with a bum?
How come no man in this room has ever said that about a girl they dated? Because you're all gold-digging skanks. We're romantic. We'll take a bum McDonald's worker. You couldn't do that. No woman's ever done that. You guys date up. We date down. That means every ex-boyfriend you've had was better than you. That's why you let him hit it. Because you guys date up. So you fucked up a lot. Could you marry a Burger King employee?
I won't do that.
Could any girl here do it? Has any girl in history ever done it? You're all dirty gold diggers. Admit you're and you know what's funny?
I'm
That's the point. You abandoned him.
That's fine.
Why did you say past tense? You said past tense.
Far from a gold digger, but okay.
You said past tense have. Why did you abandon him?
Because of the point we just brought up.
Because he's bum.
No, because I figured out that I need someone financially at my level
A leader.
or higher.
But what if you're married
But
to a leader?
how come the men here don't mind if she's a bum? Because we're the romantic gender and you guys are of the devil. You don't.
Anthony continues to state to her, I've asked several important and critical things thus far in the multiple long emails that I, Anthony, have written to you by this point in time, which, as he goes on to state here, I assumed would have already been answered by you if these things were taken seriously and if you were actually acting in good faith. Yeah, he's pissed here. And he continues to say, I also gave my take on the topics that we managed to cover thus far. I wanted to know how the situation unfolded over text where John ended up blocking you. And to see if you understood why that happened after the fact. I've seen the text exchange that occurred. A boundary of John's was asked by John to be respected by you, but was continuously disregarded. That's the gist of my understanding of the situation. Although, Anthony, you're wrong for not seeing the full videos where I went through every single one of the texts. You took my story of it, and you said you saw the text exchange. I don't know why you're saying gist then. You should have the perfect understanding if you saw the first-hand stuff. I don't know what you did. Anthony's playing a funny game too. He says, oh, Barbara, you're not responding to me. Anthony, you didn't respond to my questions just the same. Shame on Anthony too, I will add. And he ended up exposing himself to be a kind of not good person either in the way that he has with me, the way I see it. We continue. But regardless, here, he's telling my mom, in this case, you, Barbara, were wrong to violate a simple boundary of his that was asked to be respected. Plainly. My question to you is, why did you do this? Why did you not realize that this was wrong? Seemed like a simple boundary to respect. Let's turn to the other things you've stated and to other issues. You said, quote, oh, the EMS was called because of his mental breakdown, which needed to be addressed. This was a true emergency, in my opinion. This was what she was writing to Anthony, you see? So this is interesting. Let's see. We had an agreement that I could use this keys in an emergency situation, whichever I want. Which happened, the way she sees it in her mind, you get it? Which happened to be one, because I made it up that it will be one now. You see? I'll make it the emergency that it needs to be. You see? I decided that he urgently needed help. Why? Because I provoke him. Why? Because she provoked me on the phone first, and then I'm screaming at her over the phone. She says, oh, you cannot scream. Now I will call the police on you. Ha ha ha. See that? You're not allowed to be angry. If I make you angry to the point that you throw a tantrum, You're bad. This is the logic of this woman. You understand? So she continues to say, I decided he actually needed help and treatment. He needed treatment too. Oh God. You can't treat this. You can't treat indignation, stupid woman. And this is the thing you need to realize for all time. She's trying to treat the terrible condition of man's indignation, but man's indignation is based to the nature. You can't treat that away, dumbass woman. You will always make me angry for acting the way you do. You can never medicate me to stop reacting this way to the evil you do. So you do stupid shit, then you're angry, and then she's upset when I react with displeasure. But the thing you do is inherently, the fault begins with you. Anyone in the world would understand this and agree. Wake up. Please. Please. And then she further said, and help was delivered to him. She actually categorizes this as help. No, there wasn't. There was no help. I got forcibly taken into, against my will, to a hospital for several days until they realized in effect, they admitted in the record and in person, they're like, there's really nothing we can do here for anything that could be doable here, so you don't really belong here. Well, I knew that from the beginning. But in her mind, this should be harped on too. Help was delivered to him. Which part of it was helpful? Huh? You called it help. Which part of it was helpful? Reasonably helpful? Or even arguably helpful? None. Nothing. Stupid woman. But this is how reframed jobs always persist. She continues, I strongly believe this was the way to help him and not to hurt him. Right, but if you hurt your relationship, you buried it. It's in a coffin now. You have no son now. You don't understand? Idiot woman. This is the key to be able to distinguish the difference. She's going to teach you how to follow broken woman logic. Uh-oh. Men can never do that. We're too advanced. Horrible. I can't believe it. Continues. He writes her here stating, the only problem is, was he actually having something that could actually be considered a mental breakdown? Or was he simply freaking out because of your substantially provocative and disregardful and disrespectful interactions with him? There's a difference, lady. You cannot provoke someone to a point of them getting upset and then them yelling because of you, and then if you were merely talking with him on the phone, you're not even there with him in his house. You're talking about having a phone conversation. And then you get him to the point where he's yelling and even throwing a tantrum of his own. So I guess. What are you relying on, Barbara, in order to assess that he was having a mental breakdown? He explained his screaming in that case was a result of his frustration from the phone interaction with you. Because many, if not most people, have a breaking point of frustration where they will flip out if you provoke them enough. That's not a mental deficiency worthy of calling emergency medical services. He continues to state here that, in other words, your claim of him having a mental breakdown, supposedly, is what we can call and consider as being conclusory. Which means someone in my position can't actually tell if he actually had a mental breakdown, or you are simply here trying to spin it that way so that people are led to believe that he had one by saying in your narrative, I called because of his mental breakdown. See, that was yes, affirmative, agree, nod your head with me now in unison, yes, accept it, take it, subconsciously given to you so that you affirm it as being true even without assessing it critically. That's how these people work. No, we're too smart for that. Rejected. He stands here and says, my question to you is, what did he actually physically do? Someone yelling and throwing a tantrum in his own apartment is not an emergency. Did he ask you to call for any kind of supposed help for him? If he didn't, then who are you to decide anything different for him than what he would decide for himself? In our meetings, when we discussed this incident, you actually admitted that you shouldn't have said the things you did to him, even in the tone that you did it in, and that when John had an extremely upset reaction to those things, where you actually did end up calling EMS on him, yeah, you admitted that you shouldn't have done these things. And from how it was told, it sounded to me when we were sitting there talking about it, that it sounded to me like it was essentially retaliatory or punitive to his response. If Anthony's being given that impression based on what's going on in front of him, uh-oh, that's not a good sign, is it? Furthermore adds also, it's illegal to open someone's apartment door against their will, even if it's for police who otherwise wouldn't have a proper way to get in or have a warrant. You people are idiots. He continues to say to her, the real question to ask yourself is whether what you are doing is helping the situation or is hurting the situation or the person or some relationship. Look at the aftermath or the results. Have your decisions caused an improvement in your overall situation? Ah, insight, good. If not, if it hasn't, then that fact there is the biggest indication that the choices you made were actually wrong, woman. There are very few people who would have done what you just described that you did. Life to Earth to Barbara, Earth to Barbara. This is also another indication that what you did is not correct. You further wrote, quote, in my opinion, my son wants me to apologize for calling for help and for opening the door so the help could be delivered to him. Come on, it's a pizza. Here you go, delivery. It's the hell we need to get the help delivered to you. Come on now. That's how her framework in her mind works. I can't believe it. It's like if we open up our mind to see what's going on here, what do you see in there? Just a whole bunch of cartoons? Like, what the fuck is happening? It's not good. Well, she continues to write to her saying, because he wants me to apologize because, as she states here, we have completely different views on it. That's why we couldn't agree on it. Well, I'll try to bring third independent person to solve this dilemma. By the way, as a side note, she wrote this to him back in, I don't know if this is about November or December. Let's estimate around late November or something like this. Okay, we're in mid-February now. There is no witness. All right, so when you this isn't fucking pronto, fucking in 10 seconds it'll be done, in 30 minutes there'll be a witness here sitting down, and in an hour we'll solve it. 90 days goes by, just nothing. Help, I'm trapped in a frozen time zone forever. They're not helping, they're nothing. They're snails and lying alligators. Continues. She says, if this person will decide that I'm wrong, I'll definitely apologize. How about that? This will be the biggest problem we can't agree on. You can only imagine how Anthony feels, although we have an idea. He continues to state that John says he hasn't agreed to sit down for a therapist, which is smart, because that is the implication that she's making. She's trying to tell Anthony that she wants to get a therapist for me, to force me to participate in therapy. I'm going to abuse you, then I'm going to make you go to therapy because you're dysfunctional from the abuse I gave you. See the cuckoo? Yeah. Well, he says furthermore, yeah, lady, this option is off the table while no progress towards reconciliation has been made. Oh, fuck. Oh, look at that mind-blowing, mind-opening. Oh, you just heard the eureka moment happen live in my mind. Oh, God. Oh, my God. That's why she's trying so hard to force a fake reconciliation now, to try to force one up to come. Because the only thing that she ever read from this email that stuck in her brain was, oh, ding, 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 ding. Oh, I want him to go to a therapist. So if this option is off the table while no progress towards reconciliation is made, oh, that means I have to make it look like I'm making reconciliation progress towards him. Oh, I'm going to start writing these emails to him now. John, come make reconciliation to me now. Sounds like a spider weaving you in with the spider's web. What the fuck? God, you're like seeing it in front of your eyes. Like, it's sick. It's crazy. All it is control freak shit. Why? Because if John is in therapy, then he's consenting to what? That he's defective. So he's agreeing to my paradigm that he's the wrong and defective one, so that I'm right for having treated him this way this whole time. You see the sickness of it? That's how women post justify how they do things ever. This is cuckoo. So know what it is, recognize it, don't fall for it, see for what it is, properly, procedurally, and administratively handle it. It's a big wake-up call for all of Earth. All of Earth will be living through these lessons of mine. You get it? God willing, may it be so. He furthermore states, it sounds to me that you are trying to control the situation towards therapy simply, or towards getting your son to accept help, simply so that he could acquire disability by your forced involvement. Do you think that's acceptable for you to do? She's saying, of course, in her mind, of course, I'm mommy who gets to do that. A magic mommy immunity. You get the sickness? I don't have to feel sorry. Everything I'm doing is correct. Why should I feel sorry? You see the sickness? Sick. Puh. Disgusting bitch. Hate this shit. She continues to state to him, he continues to state to her, John says he sees you guilty of many things, not just a couple things. It's a funny insight into my mom's vision. She only admitted that. You know what? As a side note, I ought to make a list of things that she's guilty of, like a formal list. Should help. Maybe. I don't know. Anthony continues to say that he sees you guilty of many things. Yeah, calling the police and all of this only happens to be a couple of the reasons. And these events may have been catalysts, or may have been the straw that broke the camel's back for him. But your biggest problem, Barbara, is that it's an entire framework of problems that you've created, of which these one or two issues that you mentioned are only somewhat small parts of in the big picture. What the fuck? It's more like you regularly appear to do the inconsiderate thing at virtually every turn and every step. Truly, every email that comes from her is laced with this. Every, sentence. It just does, no matter how much, everything, you keep doing this for weeks and weeks, years, nothing changes. Fuck. He further adds here, it's hard to even point at one thing because it's kind of everything. Really is. And that's not an easy problem to have. That's impressive, right? How did you mess it up that crazy? He continues to say to her that you, Barbara, stated that it could be help that would be delivered to him. But why are you calling it help? The issue was provoked by the phone conversation and then escalated when you believed he needed help from EMS from a supposed mental breakdown by, according to you, in which the context seems to have been a frustrated response to what happened because of what you were saying to him, which wasn't respectful on that call, which you should have known. You have to take responsibility. No one else will do it for you. Won't go to him. I want him to be responsible. It won't ever work. He further adds here, I recall one time I was told about where your son had asked you, why didn't you believe me that I had actual real health issues as opposed to psychiatric issues? And you told him, because I simply didn't want it to be true. This is an alarming thing for me or anyone to hear. It means that you're the type of person, you seem to be someone who wants to, is willing to paint reality to fit your own idea instead of ensuring that it is your idea and framework and understanding that conforms to reality itself. You further said in the email to me, how about that? This is the biggest problem which you can't agree on. But as I said earlier to you, Barbara, it isn't. The whole pattern of conduct towards your own son is the biggest apparent problem, where each issue is only one part of the same consistent overall pattern of disregard that you have towards him and that you show to him, and endlessly, and then you don't stop it. His plain question, why are you doing that? You then continue, as he states here furthermore to her, you then continue on to a second point in your email to me. When you were talking to me about all this, you stated that, quote, I asked to remove the videos. I asked for him, basically, to remove the videos from YouTube since I found them to be offensive. I found them to be not truthful. Many facts are twisted. Many conclusions drawn are incorrect, and the foul language was used in them. My son, 35-year-old sovereign fucking human being on this earth, a male citizen, speaking, is using foul language, not allowed. So you want to control how people speak too? The sickness, you see? How unbelievable this looks when you're looking at it. It's like, wow. And she has no idea how fucking crazy she looks. Also, the most important, it is illegal to do such a thing on public platforms. Not true. Not true. Yeah. Good luck showing one thing that I said that you could prove is false. But everything I say is true, 100%. Huh. And again, you'll note, she says, oh, he says false things. Yeah, what did he say that's false? She never answers that question. Yeah, things. That's what's false, things. The cuckoo game never ends. Fucking, I hate these types of people. My own mother's one of them. But why are you like this? Because you're evil. So you should be hated as well, just as much. Sick. He continues to say to her, for some reasons, the things he posted were this is her still speaking to him, being quoted here. For some reasons, the things he posted were in complete disagreement with my views. Oh my God, God forbid. She can't figure it out. She's like, for some reasons, the things he says are in disagreement with what I feel. He's not allowed to have anything different than what I feel. For some reason, though, he disagrees with my views. I don't understand. Isn't this insane? This tells you exactly into her own mind. Her tendencies don't lie. Her gut words tell you insight into her mind, how it really works. It's right there, everybody. Look. This is how she is. That should be bone-chilling alarming. Like, yep, that doesn't tell you she's a narcissist. I don't know what else in this world would. Fuck. It's unbelievable. So, as a result, she went on to state to him that this needed clarification and explanation. If we have problems, we should have found ways to communicate in the constructive way, regardless of the severity of the issues, which means regardless of the severity. So I could do anything, and then, oh, wait, even if my own mom doesn't talk to me, then I'm still supposed to talk to her? No, wait, that doesn't make sense. She says she won't talk to me. See, this doesn't make sense. So then, of course, I put YouTube videos because she's not talking to me. So I have to make a third nest somewhere that hosts my protests of what she's doing since she won't entertain them. And yet then I'm disparaged for correctly giving testimonies to what the fuck happened. There's no winning with these evil, sick people, is there? I hope God shits on her. He will. Disgusting. She should be ashamed. Put to shame in front of all of humanity. Good. So she makes up in her own mind. Posting videos on YouTube wasn't the right thing to do in the first place. Incorrect, I say here. It's perfectly morally legitimized, and for reasons that were made very clear by both ChatGPT and me in multiple of my videos uploaded onto my playlist, as we've seen heretofore. The quote continues, where she said to him, she's quoted as saying to him, therefore, if it wasn't the right to do in the first place, therefore, I have every right to ask him to remove it. He could have chosen to do the right thing, but he didn't. See how the flip goes? It's wrong. It doesn't hold up in moral court. Anthony says back to her here, firstly and most importantly, were you raised similar claims as this ever since May? Fucking late spring, and now it's like winter time of the fuck, what the hell? Anthony said that you said that he said some things that were untruthful in these videos. Didn't I ask you several times to explain what it was that he said that was false? I asked you specifically once again recently to explain this to me. Instead, You just wrote essentially the same thing again. He says false things, he says false things. Conclusory statements without stating what he said that was wrong. So this is now you just playing games, woman. Until something you, Barbara, can provide proves that what he said was wrong, I am led to believe that those statements that he made are not wrong and not false. That is sense. She thinks that as soon as I say it's false, that is the magic words. The magic words mean everyone has to bow to me now, she feels, right? Anyone could say anything in the world, but if I say, that's wrong, I don't have to substantiate it. It's just wrong now. Everyone has to believe that I'm right and that he is wrong because I said wrong. Magic words. Anthony says to her, you then suggest that it's somehow illegal for him to express himself publicly. It's amazing receiving an email like that, being one in her position, and she still isn't understanding anything. What is she fighting against? That's the real question someone should be asking her. What is she fighting against? Anthony says here, I don't believe that's accurate, that it's illegal for him to express himself publicly. No, in America, you have a First Amendment right to express yourself. That's called free speech. See that? Okay? And unless you're defaming someone, well, that's sort of what she's essentially trying to claim, except it doesn't add up. It's not so. Anthony continues on, and he says, you may dislike that he's posted stuff. Look at the world today. Oh my God, how many things are posted that make people look bad? Yeah, if you're in that person's shoes, you wouldn't want to be in that person's shoes. But until you ever are one day, you don't really know what it's like. So you people do it to each other all the time, mindlessly. You don't know what it is, the evil of it. But when you're right, you're right. But how do you know you're right? Oh, don't follow your own mind. Remember, my trademark quote, don't believe yourselves. Trademark. He says, you may dislike that he's posted stuff, but I don't see how that's illegal. The internet is filled everywhere with stories of people who are depicted, shown, or talked about as having done crazy or messed up things. Those are almost always not illegal, even if the person disagrees that the conclusion is accurate. As long as it's a fair contention that one could rather feel one way or the other about it, is a matter of opinion, is not illegal. It's not illegal to express your opinion. But as I've said before, you could have tried to find a way to work together to have the videos taken down once things have been worked out with him. Duh. You get that? Unless some claims are... Oh, that's why my mother's trying to reconcile. Okay, if I say I reconcile, then he has to take it down. She's only concerned about herself. She's not concerned about the impact she made on her child, her family. The fuck lizard brain. Fucking lizard people. No emotion, just cold eyes, reptile eyes, just kill. There's no feeling. Uh-oh. Anthony continues to say to her, unless some claims are provided that support your statements, I'm unable to take them at face value. Does this mean you're calling John a liar here? Either that, or this is quite a misrepresentation by you that needs to be clarified. My mom never clarified it. She just didn't bother to respond to all this. She just gives up. When what Anthony says is too much gravitas, her tactic is to just acquiesce, which would properly concede that Anthony's right, but not in her mind. This is all a twisting. I'm subject to hell because I was born under this woman. What the fuck happened? You went on in this email to say, quote, the first meeting was a bit better, but the second one was a disaster. Anthony even said, I agree. But do you remember when you canceled the meeting so that you could replace those meetings with the effects and substance of some letters of yours? Which you covered about this in the videos, yeah? Which, as Anthony further said to her, which you, Barbara, were supposed to have been working on for weeks. Yeah, we remember that too. Yet, You never gave any of these letters to John when you promised that you would. Oh. What makes you think that that is okay to do? Soon after the incident of him blocking you occurred, due to that violation of yours that we discussed, you violated a reasonable boundary of his, I, after that, then asked you to provide those letters to me, then. Remember? Where you said that you'd get back to me by this now past weekend, yet I have heard nothing about them. I, too, am now left to wonder, were these letters ever made, even? Are you just making up stuff to try to buy time? What are you even doing? Nothing makes sense. This is all insulting to people, so that's why you're morally wrong, because the things you're doing are insulting to the men around you. Is there any legitimate basis of defense or justification for you that you should be able to express any such thing in these letters? He goes on to state to her, the cancellation and lack of letters had put a massive halt to making any sort of progress. You canceled. You made a lack of letters where you promised them. So therefore you are the one responsible for the massive halt to making any sort of progress. And that is unfortunate, since to me it shows an inconsistency by you, Barbara, on you're working on fixing the situation. In hindsight, it actually becomes obvious that if you haven't done the single thing that you offered to have replace the meetings, then the meeting shouldn't have been canceled in the first place. Ah, there's more insight. Good, in hindsight. This letter bullcrap has yielded no results. There are no letters. You're just lying. You substantiate nothing of what you say, and you show nothing. This is a nothing show from you. Clown world, circus world. This just resulted in a drastically delayed process. Was there any purpose in having these things delayed so long? None. She's only hiding, and she doesn't know what she's doing. Anthony continues on here to state, you essentially claim in your emails that friends somehow can't be objective in their assessment of a moral dilemma or situation. Are you saying that I am unreliable for the matter after having worked for this for a year? Where she turned to him. She picked him. What the fuck? She's criticizing herself, basically. It never ends, right? I like you only if you favor me, but if you don't favor me, then you're biased to begin with. Cuckoo. It's never because she's actually wrong. Remember, narcissists are incapable of seeing themselves as wrong. Anthony asks, are you saying that I'm unreliable for the matter? Well, right? Or that I'm somehow improperly biased? You yourself encouraged and solicited my involvement. So if that was an issue, why is this mentioned only now by you, after me having spent over a year trying to help and me being involved this long? Don't you think that this is improper and completely disrespectful to me? Of course it is. Anthony's guilty of some disrespect, but my mom is definitely guilty of possibly even bigger disrespect, and she owes a big apology too. But Anthony didn't do the right thing, so it's like two wrongs don't make a right, everybody. We should get that part too, but we continue anyway for now. He's in the right here for sure. He continues to state that, are you, Barbara, saying this to me, all this here, merely because you don't like the conclusion I've come up with? With what's been provided to me from both sides, and by the way, ChatGPT agrees with Anthony and me. That's it. Anthony continues to say, with what's been provided to me from both sides, and going through a number of examples where each instance has been broken down, you've already admitted that the course of action taken should have been done differently. You admitted this back then, so why are you flip-flopping now? And over again, Barbara. He continues to state that you simply admitted that you don't feel you're wrong, lady, but that fact doesn't change what actually has occurred here. I've done nearly everything I can to make it clear to you with what evidence has been provided to me that I've looked for from both sides, but you're not hearing either me or your son on this matter, which is wrong. John said he isn't going to be participating in anything therapy-oriented because basically you don't deserve that, lady. When you forcibly try to get him into a mental hospital, what do you think the result is going to be afterwards? I sent John the text about the therapist you found, and he said he's vehemently against it. Of course he is, no kidding. Furthermore, yeah, let the lady who screwed up everything now come into control of what the fuck is supposed to be happening here. It's all insane. It's nuts. She's running under delusion, in essence. And he furthermore says to her, and you've brought this up before, and he said the same thing then also. So this is the second time or more he's saying this over and over. So she doesn't get the message how to fucking serve life correctly, serve God correctly. It's like, what's happening in her mind when she sees this? Like, this would make anyone go like, oh my God, like I need to really reconsider what I'm doing. Now she's like, some people are saying something to me. Oh, that doesn't do anything. Broken. He says to her, continuing to insist on the same thing, Barbara, is it going to change his mind about it? Get it? This is showing a disregard of respect and a disregard of his autonomy on this point. That's the offense, so you're going to learn. He continues on furthermore here to state that you then go on to say that a lot of my conclusions are not correct. But which conclusions are they that are not correct? Why would you say this if you don't specify exactly what it was that I said that's supposedly wrong? This is all a sickness game, deflection game. Crazy. He then says, you then say, Barbara, that you cannot discuss anything more at this point? Yeah, convenient, right? Oh, everything you say is wrong. No, I cannot discuss anything more at this point. He says, that is an unusual thing to state. I agree. Particularly at this point, I really agree. Again, we've gone over things step by step, and only after our nuanced discussions were carried out did you eventually admit that you shouldn't have done certain things. Before she flip-flopped on that, in essence. Without an explanation of how and why it is that I'm somehow wrong, I'm led to believe that you appear more to want to be right rather than to salvage the relationship with your son properly. Betrayer woman. Who wants that woman to be involved in her life? Who should give her reconciliation? It's crazy. Anthony himself here now says, I won't be involved actively much after this. Because again, I've said just about as much as can be said, and for some reason, you keep refusing to share more information that would actually theoretically help you if you were actually in possession of it. Yeah, there's no such information that would help you, Barbara. It's not possible, as he goes on to state, to provide help if it's not being listened to. Yeah, Anthony is trying to help her. She's not listening. And he says here that there is no cooperation to provide or expand on these claims made. You provided no further evidence, nothing to counteract the things that have been said by John. Therefore, you fail to substantiate anything that you've said. In a case where such substantiation should have been provided by you. Can everyone in the world see this clearly by now? It continues to state here, the lack of clarity and the lack of points that are made by you is what I've had to go off of. So the adverse finding being made against you by me is due to your own fault. Wake up. He continues. This is typical. This is how narcissists work. If you took this as like a feature and exhibited this in like a narcissistic feature in a psychology thing on a video somewhere, it'd be like, this is gold. It's crazy. Continues. I've asked you to answer or clarify many things, he said to her, in the last few emails and messages. He proceeds to state that many of those things that you, Barbara, have not written back about or answered, you haven't answered about. One of them was about entering his apartment. I've asked you whether you have, and very notably, you didn't deny that you had done so after he was already taken out to the hospital. This is the second time he's bringing this up, and then we showed the third time already a little before. He here asked, this is crazy. Anthony did a good job. You know what? He got fed up with it, but he carried it out the wrong way. I feel bad for him because, man, Anthony he did one thing different. It could have been totally different, but he acted out in the way he did, but it wasn't right. but I understand within context somewhat why he was led to feel that way. It's because of her. It's because of her. She's driving him crazy. She's driving me crazy. She doesn't feel guilt about this. She says, no, there's no problem here. You people aren't human, so it's fine. From her brain. If you're all crazy, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. So this is no woman. This is no yin. Disgusting. So he's asking, I will ask once more, did you enter John's apartment with those keys after he was taken against his will to that hospital, as the evidence indicates that you did? He's provided his side on it, but you have yet to do so. If you fail to deny this a second time, I will reasonably assume that this indicates a tacit admission of the apparent fact that you did. Anthony did a really good job here. And then he still asked again. She still ignored it. If ignored, how do you expect your son or anyone to trust you? I'll ask once more again, did you enter John's apartment with those keys after he was taken against his will to that hospital? As the evidence indicates that you did, he's provided his side on it, but you yet have to. You have yet to do so. I'd hate to feel that I've wasted all this time and effort. I'd hope that this would be taken seriously and with a proper amount of attentiveness. Unless something is provided or an effort is made, there is little more I can do. Yeah. Lastly, John asked me to inform you that you should look at the videos he's uploaded where he's used ChatGPT AI to analyze the situation. We skimmed through... I'll read the rest of this. But yeah, that's basically what she finally agreed to do by now, so let's see what good comes of it. If she's watching through all of this, that means she'll have seen up through this very point. This means she's watched all this. She's seen all of this. Can you get it? John, as he says here to her furthermore, has included these narrated conversations that he had with the GPT that he then reads aloud, and he has done so even after you two have stopped talking most recently, as a result of the most recent block. If you can't grasp the underlying problems, or identify what the problems are even after that, then the situation will continue to remain extremely bleak. That's it. And my response now to her email, returning to this matter, email that we just covered here. My response follows. To respond here, again. Yeah, I agree. My well-being is very, very important. Within context, sure. You say that we should concentrate on it now. However, I think you're assuming some privilege that you have not earned, or rather you had it, but because of your own shocking carelessness, you have lost it. And because of this, you're not entitled to be in a position to effectuate anything upon my life beyond the level that you merit. Where have you been for over a year? Selfishly keeping only your own idea of what your own interests are in mind. In relation to this, you stated in your email that you claim to see a lot of misunderstandings and that there are wrong conclusions being drawn. Very strange thing for you to say here. Why is this? Because earlier in the same email of yours, you wrote that you will listen to my videos as a sign of respect. That's a good thing, and you're listening to these videos in their entirety in a manner that is serious and with a mindset of coming to understand your son and how to and to find out how it is that you may have been wrong. This is a good and constructive thing. This may be the step in the right direction of many steps that would need to take place in the big picture. Proceeding onwards, it further states here that, I say to her, however, the strange thing is that while you purportedly show an intention to make a sign of respect, you actually take the next step of canceling the effect of that sign of respect. And how are you canceling it? Exactly by saying to me that this is some misunderstandings and that there are wrong conclusions being drawn. Listen to me. You are not in a position by merit to attempt to even imply or insinuate that someone in my position here is misunderstanding anything, nor in a position to imply that it is I somehow who have drawn conclusions that are somehow wrong, especially given what is very apparently clear within the entire narrative of ours. The implication is that I am somehow irresponsible or incompetent in the things I understand or the things that I make conclusions about. That's the implication you're making here. Uh-oh. However, on this earth, nothing can possibly be further from the truth. You are incompetent in these matters, at least for sure. Morally, spiritually, relationally, and also incompetent in your ability to even perceive, let alone figure out proper truth. This definitely is applied to these things. And yet, you here are going to attempt to represent to me that there is something that you understand or conclude correctly about any single thing on this earth more than me? Yeah, and without substantiation too? That there on its face is disrespectful. That disrespect there cancels out sign of respect. The email doesn't have the effect that she intended it to have. She keeps canceling what she thinks she wants to do that she is achieving. She's not achieving. Because these types are always delusional in this regard. And yet you, as I write here, are going to attempt to represent to me that there is... I said this already. Yeah, this, as it proceeds to stay from there, this on its face is disrespectful. And it's certainly disrespectful if you are unable to substantiate the thing that it is that you're trying to say or claim. Why does she never substantiate anything that she says? This is an interesting trend that keeps forming, right? I proceed thereafter to say to her, very funny. You simply, vaguely and conclusorily state that there are some misunderstandings, wrong conclusions being drawn, but you don't actually clearly explain what they are. Yeah, you lied to Anthony, telling him since May that I myself am some kind of liar. Yet for several months, Anthony asked you over and over again, what did John lie about? For several months, you could not explain anything. You made huge mistakes. What conclusions that are wrong that are the ones that I have drawn? What misunderstandings have I had? Huh? I continue to state from there on out to her that there's none and there's none, is what I say. No misunderstandings, no wrong conclusions. These are attempts by you simply, these statements of yours, they're attempts by you to simply evade responsibility once again. And I'm absolutely sick and tired of it. Me being treated like this for over 15 months by you, witnessing and beholding you stonewalling and essentially refusing to fundamentally be a mother to your son, and me correctly beholding, finding, and concluding that it is you who has violated the true moral law. This is not a misunderstanding. Me finding that you have done wrong, and reasonably so, as I find, is not a wrong conclusion. But you challenging what I have said and what I am saying here is the biggest problem. Particularly given the position she's in, I add as a side note. I continue to ask her and write to her, aren't you supposedly trying to make repentance or apologize here? No, I'm just trying to get you to therapy, remember? So, how the hell do you think you're going to apologize and repent and atone so fully sufficiently? Atone? What are you talking about? I'm right, you're wrong, you therapy, you crazy. See that? The paradigm will never end. Eve, you took the apple, you took the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil when the serpent told you to do so. You weren't supposed to do that. No, I didn't do nothing wrong. That was fine. The delusions never end. All the way to the beginning, it never ends. That's finally... We're going to enter back into Gan Eden. We're going to enter back into the Garden of Eden. Because we'll fix the last remaining problems that our predecessors before us were too weak to fully solve. Do not regard the desire of women. This is the only key. May I say something about that in the book of Daniel? We continue. So how the hell do you think you're going to apologize and repent and atone so fully sufficiently, but at the same time, you do that while implicitly denying the validity of what I say, and instead saying that it's just essentially just some misunderstanding by me, as if I'm stupid? No, I understand perfectly, as it continues to state here, and you are the piece of crap for attempting to cast this frame to me here within this situation after writing what you wrote, and then you're trying to do some subtle flipping, but subtly? That's a piece of crap thing to do. Not a completely unfair thing for me to say to her at this point. I continue to state to her, what you're doing, it doesn't work. Anyone with eyes can see what you are, what your position and your merits or lack of them are, and how you actually look. Furthermore, you have the additional big problem of having essentially controverted and antagonized me once again, where this previously landed her into trouble too. It's amazing. You think you by Pavlov's conditioning, behavioral conditioning, you shock the person, you touch the hot stove over and over, you think you won't touch the hot stove again, right? She still touches the hot stove. Brain disorders. So put these people in a fucking, generally speaking, all of these types in life, generally, put them in a vat and boil them. This world is not yours. This world is inherited by a different class of people on this earth now. I'm not going to be a sexist or a racist. There's a new thing I'm going to be, and this is the thing that everyone is going to be. A mindist. A personality toneist. You will be of the correct vibe essence, or you will be brought down. This will be the age of Moshiach, I promise you. Furthermore, as I wrote to her, you have the additional big problem of having essentially controverted and antagonized me once again, though simply just much more subtly this time than before, but in a way that's still significant, as you reveal yourself over and over to be not properly meriting anything that you seek. You messed up. When are you going to get it? How many witnesses need to become involved? Now, I think you owe another apology. Why? And keep track to see, will she give this apology in her upcoming reply or response? Or is she going to try to play possum, but in a way to not actually feel that she did anything wrong, so as to admit anything? I don't admit anything wrong. I'm the victim. Feel bad for me. We'll continue to examine this whole thing. We continue. Because you controverting me again, trying to subtly argue what the actual nature of reality is, that's why you owe me another apology. She's doing it again. Now, either you apologize for essentially challenging what I've been saying to you, or you will once again end up in a position for perhaps at least another 3 months or even longer of just not speaking to me. That's serious. If I'm telling her this here, I'm giving her fair warning. Keep in mind, does she apologize? Track the email. If she doesn't, strict justice. That's it. Strict justice. Let's find out about an interesting aspect of Moshiach. As we see, I was actually going to bring up something in relation to Moshiach and how the age of Moshiach, oh, I promise you, but as it states, I cannot yet find the original site. I have so many. You can't imagine the amount of content and things I lose. I literally forget more. I don't actually forget very much. I forget certain things. There's a kind of amnesia I have recently. It's sort of mild, but The point is this. I can't find whatever else I was looking for, but on the way, I came across this. The thing I was going to find in reference was the fact that it's prophesied, it's known about, that the age of Moshiach, the coming age of Moshiach, will be the age of pure justice. From the beginning of the world, justice was balanced with kindness. They counterbalanced each other so that the whole thing could be palatable together. But kindness is going to be eliminated, and there's just going to be pure justice now. I was about to say, everybody knows this. Not everybody knows this yet. It's going to be known soon, trust me. But for now, it says Moshiach is called... Why is Moshiach called a leper in the prophecies? It states here in the Torah, the skin condition, sarat, commonly translated as leprosy, was actually a supernatural affliction for one who gossiped. One who was afflicted with the malady was considered impure and had to undergo a purification process. Moses' sister, Miriam, was punished after the condition, or rather, was punished with the condition, after she spoke disparagingly about her brother once. See that? What punishment do you think Barbara Winslow gets when she calls into a hospital to tell other human beings on the other end of the line, other people cross the street when they see my son? Yeah? Promise you God's going to give you the affliction, whatever form it takes. This and all the other corresponding things that for years you've perpetuated against me. And then it continues on to state here, and yet when Talmud discusses the names of the Moshiach, it calls him a Chavara Devai Rebbe, that is the leper of the house of Rebbe, citing proof from Isaiah. Indeed, our illness he did bear, and our pains he endured, yet we esteem him injured, stricken by God, and afflicted. How could this most righteous person be associated with this terrible malady, the result of sin, normally? Continues on to state here that examining the verse cited in the Talmud, some proper rabbinical commentaries explain that Moshiach will not actually be a leper literally. Rather, he will be afflicted with great suffering and illness, and in his merit God will forgive us and heal us. But once atonement is made, that's why forgiveness will be possible. And boy, will there be an atonement paradigm setting in soon. Later in the article, near the end, in other words, just like the attribute of Gevurah, Tzarat, is that its source is an influx of extraordinary intensity that is more than the recipient can handle. From this intensity is born the harsh judgments as they exist in the realm of holiness, which can then ultimately give birth to the impure symptoms. The Rebbe explains that this is why Moshiach is called the Metzorah, one who has Tzarat. For the objective of the Moshiach is to reveal the extraordinary and intense spiritual energy that up until that point the world was unable to handle. You will merit the coming of Moshiach soon, not for the reasons you think. Resuming here, as I was writing to her, I think you owe another apology. And why? And I explained why. Trying to controvert me again, trying to argue again. Don't argue with the man. You're wrong. Inferior brain, not working correctly. But we see that plainly by the results. And if any woman, first of all, if any woman thinks that that's not right, that the woman's brain is not inferior, well, show me a woman who thinks differently. But if she does, then she would admit, yeah, that woman shouldn't even represent us. You're right to think that your thinking is superior to how she's thinking. So I don't understand why you feel that way, especially if, just... I don't know how many women you come across, but man, the good women are sorry and are angry that women like this exist. Get it? Continue. The age of Moshiach will not have kindness, and that'll be the new law. It's already prophesied about. I write to her here and say that I might not speak to you for another 3 months. Why? This is because you reach out to me here, where you make an implicit representation by this that if I agree to choose to engage with you in dialogue, that it will not result in you subsequently being at the cause of any indignation being experienced on my part. Yet here we are. I wrote to you in a manner that is contextually fair, where you now have responded in a way that has brought indignation to me. You're not allowed to do that as a mother to any grown son of yours. Yet I did not invite this, nor do I deserve it, strictly speaking. When you act like this, you are the one who is the loser, I should say, who is the loser in God's eyes and in the eyes of objectivity. Continues on from here to state that, for a moment, as I said to her, before we proceed, let me bring something up. I turned to Anthony for him to be a witness on this matter. It took him a long time to evaluate this because he's extremely slow, but it's not only his fault. A lot of it is yours. But regardless, he came to the proper finding anyway at the end. However, despite him making his findings clear to you, did you respect it? No. When I have made my findings clear before you, did you respect it? No. You argue, you try to invert, and you by some point refuse to continue any further. Now you come back under some kind of pretense, with some objectives in mind, apparently, pretending, essentially, it seems, that you are sorry, but your actual behavior shows that you're not sorry. Since you have dishonored me, and you have dishonored my witness, where essentially by that fact of you dishonoring, you've claimed or held that it is I who have wrongly accused you, well, then guess what? Turning to the Bible, the Judeo-Christian paradigm tells you what to do. Are you supposed to sit there and argue? Christ himself said, agree with your adversary while you still can. But if you think you are being accused falsely, or that you are in the right while the other person's in the wrong, then guess what? You are obligated to get a witness to corroborate and affirm that it is truly is you who's in the right before you proceed to do anything, to sit on your laurels as if you really are right. You're not the decider of your blurry vision, your funny humans. Sit down. Let me ask you, who did you turn to during October of 2022 back then to help you verify that you were in the right? To someone who has assessed both sides and understands both sides, like my buddy Anthony had, before deciding that you were set and given some green light by God to go ahead and essentially reject and ignore your own son, and basically quit being a mother to your own son. Who quits being a mother to their own son? It's sick. No one even heard of that. For a period of time lasting, not even just a couple days, because you're a little angry for a couple minutes, you did this for a few months. Now it's for fucking a year and a half almost. You're sick in the head. Continuing from here on out. All the way now to almost a year and a half, it says, yeah. Did you get anyone else to affirm and corroborate that this is what a person in your shoes is supposed to be doing? Or did you just listen to yourself? Whenever you simply listen to yourself and to your own ideas, then whenever it ends up that you're actually wrong in what you did, do you understand how serious the moral karmic penalty or the godly penalty really is? Continuing on, it states here, I wrote to her saying that your biggest problem is that virtually all steps and all phases that you do, you distinctly fail to do that which you were supposed to do. Do you realize that if you turned to a witness, or even attempted to, that it would be this act of your turning to a witness that would have prevented this much damage within this situation of ours from taking place? Oh, that's what would have been the responsible helping, saving, and protecting, nourishing energy, nurturing energy. Where was that? Nothing. She only destroys. This one is Shiva. She's not the exalted, benevolent aspect of Yin. No, she's the destructive Shiva. Sick. And explain to her why. I furthermore explained that this is so because you would have turned to another person by doing that, where that person, upon hearing the insanity of what you're doing, would have quickly shut it down, and they would have dissuaded you from proceeding along acting or thinking along those same lines. It is because you failed to uphold and carry out your godly duty that you are now in this position. So now, where I originally said that reconciliation would be impossible without your watching all these videos, there's also now a second criteria or ultimatum in essence, in addition to watching the entire playlist, which was number one. That's right, I'm putting something second here. Number 2, I absolutely demand that you turn to someone in your life, any human being whatsoever that you know, and show to them both the entire YouTube playlist of videos that I've made, along with, number 2, whatever you feel would be responsibly added by you to address the whole of what I've said that you would naturally and appropriately show me too, so that it's all clear and open. And then let the person assess all that issues, that whole pile of things there. No need to get a therapist, number 1. And number 2, this is, of course, consistent with what she herself told Anthony she was going to do, but that she didn't do. She's a traitor and a liar and a fake. I told her, get any damn single friend anywhere and literally pay them some amount per hour of their time even to sit and evaluate all this. Then when they listen and they finish, even if it takes them a month or longer, I want this person to sit down for any potential or conceivable meeting of ours. For I assure you that there is no in-person meeting of ours that is possible unless there is such an extraordinary simple there's such an ordinary simple witness who's brought in who has reviewed everything. Basically be a replacement to Anthony. It'll be someone you picked again. You actually picked Anthony the first time. Then you're going to pick somebody else the second. It's never going to end. You pick 50, 50 will disagree with you, 50 will agree with me. Why? Because I'm on God's side, God's on my side. Woman's delusional. You bring in someone, as it goes on here to state, who reviewed everything and who has spoken to both sides beforehand, continues to state here. Furthermore, that only then can any in-person discussion within any in-person paradigm be possible. Do what you said you were going to do already, and stop every day that the sun sets that I don't have a mother who's sufficiently repentant is an insult to me all over again. It's spitting in my face all over again for no reason, no valid reason ever. Sick abuse. Please arrange for this to happen as soon as possible, because you have enacted all the wrong things. But none of this wrong things that you've done is backed by the supporting opinion of anyone else in your life who is someone that actually properly and fairly understands both sides completely. Who only listen to you and your side alone, because you control the narrative in your domain, you sick woman. I continue on to ask, so how the hell is this fair what you do then? To subject me to that nonsense, that upon my protest, you don't even do the fair work on your end of ensuring, how? By the verification of some second person on your side, that what you're doing actually makes sense. You're supposed to ensure and verify that what you're doing actually makes sense. Do you think that is right for you to do? This is the thing that you should be concerned with. Let's proceed. You further then criticize some spirit of division as being present. More funny games, right? You need to get it by the correct perspective. Jesus Christ himself, as well as the whole proper Jewish framework as well, both say super clearly, in essence, if someone does something wrong against you but does not apologize or repent, then you must ostracize them and separate from them and separate them from you. Christ, in other sections of the gospel, stated that he came not to bring peace, but to bring a sword with which to divide. And that because of him, because of people properly following him in his ideology and paradigm, that even family members will be divided apart from each other, and that this is a good thing. Better to properly divide because a substantial proportion of people are splitting to see the truth, whatever the truth is in actuality, rather than the previous culture of, well, we just worship mommy and let mommy be right all the time for the sake of tradition and mommy's rightness. Poo-poo time. You're going to get the wake-up call every time. Repeated round after round from God till you get it. You continue. Now, you are the snake, the wrongdoer, who here has been rebuked. And you are trying to say, there's spirit of division. There's spirit of division. The snake. Lady, I came back from the hospital after being held there illegally against my will because of you, after you made illegally false and misleading statements, and I called you once in order for this to be worked out, despite how insane this situation was. Instead of returning my call, you know what you did? You reached out to my friend Anthony without my permission in order to essentially complain about me and to use him to tell me that you will not speak to me for some indefinite period of time. What kind of mother is this? And who wants that as a mother? Who are you now to try to make or petition dubiously for some reconciliation? Sure, as if we were to really believe that you're showing that you're really sorry, right? Hey, everybody in the world looking at this, audience and witnesses, does she look sorry? I don't think so. But we'll see from her upcoming email what tactic she will try to pull, or whether she's actually sorry. Coming to God moment, like, I'm really fucked up. Nope, do we see that? We'll find if we ever see that from her. Amalek will be destroyed. Who are you now, ask her, to try to make a petition dubiously for some reconciliation? You are the one who is responsible, after all, for this nightmare, having formed every single aspect of it. You are wrong. You are very wrong. They continue on to write furthermore here that you imply that it is somehow me who has brought a spirit of division. Look at yourself. What kind of mother does what you have done? You're the divisive things. You divided me away from you. Sick? Puh. And you want to walk back up to me? For what? Stupid woman. Anthony himself became tired of you. For well over a year, you promote division. You cancel our meetings. You make fights. You treat your son in this sick way. Your mind is twisted if you think that the proper conclusion is that there's somehow a spirit of wrongful division that's somehow just on my end here. Yeah? No one on earth with a brain would believe you. Such that you, thereupon, become purportedly, essentially entitled, right? Entitled to highly recommend spiritual cleansing and getting rid of negative energies. Yeah, over there by where my son is, right? Yeah, are you freaking kidding me? You are the one here who appears to have all of the negative energies here, okay? There are two kinds of separation in this life by godly standards. Metaphysical standards, we should say. One kind is the proper kind, based in merit or on merit, which is the kind of separation that's only done and merited wherever a third-party witness affirms or verifies that you're the one in the right. Only then you're entitled morally to at least pause interactions with someone until there's a resolution. For the proper ostracization of those, this is the proper ostracization of those who are wrongdoers in life. But the second type of separation is the contextually and morally twisted one. The type that is improper. The type that goes against God, which is morally incorrect, and which, as a result, is the one that had the negative spirit of division that you imply I have wrongly. You know what type that is? That's the spirit of division. That's the kind of division of your mother not calling you back after you come back from the mental hospital. What the fuck? I continue from here on out, as it states from the bottom there. You treat your son in this sick way. And furthermore, it goes on to say, your mind is twisted. Oh, I read this part already. Yeah, you are the one who appears to have all the negative energies. Yeah. Okay, so now, continuing on from the top here, I state to her, say, no. This is all garbage, and your claims are insane. Who would reasonably disagree with me? Tell me in the comments below if you think I'm wrong. No such thing. Continue. Furthermore, goes on to say, is it only yourself who you're trying to convince? Because no man is capable of believing you, because we can think. I want you to really think about how futile it is to get a man to change his mind. But you're like the devil who, I have to try, because I just have to try. No, stop even trying. I know you're addicted to it. Stop trying. No man, as I go on to state here, is capable of believing you because we can think. What you say is not convincing. It appears only to be self-serving. Without a severe and extremely genuine apology, founded on, it's probably the third time I'm saying this at least, founded on a full confession of wrongdoing by you, that it is wrong to imply to me within this context that I misunderstand anything, or that I have wrong conclusions about anything, or that I'm supposed to be subject to your advice, I should say, to do some spiritual cleansing, idiot woman. Your addiction is the addiction to the frame. Your frame is that, in essence, John is defective. So everything you ever do and say to me is laced with this poison, pre-sewn in before you even wake up in the morning. See the problem you're having? But I don't want it. I don't accept it. Yang kupuya. I don't accept or take this gift. This is not respect for you, so therefore you are wrong for trying to give it. Pass it off as currency. That I should honor? No. That has no worth to me. I'm not actually wrong or incorrect about anything, is the mind blow you're going to wake up to. Reconciliation is absolutely and completely impossible without full 100 fullest 0.00 to the fullest complete % unlimited admission of full and sole wrongdoing by you. Nothing else is possible, and certainly not without any witnesses on earth. There are no witnesses on earth that are conceivable who would take your side. So, too bad for you, and good luck, but luck won't be enough. In God's eyes, you fail. For now, I continue on to state here, while you're engaged in the beholding of these videos, this is the key thing. For now, GPT AI is used to review all the matters that have arisen between us. It is an objective evaluator, better than Anthony, that reviews and in some ways, that reviews and assesses the matter. You're watching through all of those videos on that playlist will be, in essence, a lesson time for you. Then. This is because you will see what an objective evaluation system like AI actually finds to be the case. It is not you. That AI is not you. That AI is not me. That AI is fair, objective. And it thinks the same way that the most neurotypical and highly intelligent humans would think, or even better in some cases. You need some perspective because you clearly don't have it. AI will offer it. Good. I further state to her, I demand that within the next 72 hours you tell me exactly who you choose or ask to be a witness on this matter on your side. Exactly what she said she was going to do anyway. So what happened? And then I say to her, you send this person the whole playlist. In addition, even before you proceed with the main playlist involving the issues here to finish the big portion of it that she hadn't watched yet, I actually insist that you first take a close look at the entire playlist that shows the 4 videos covering what happened between me and Anthony. But I already mentioned this in my previous email to her, as we saw in the first part of that email. So I'm just repeating myself here. I finally sum up this email and write to her. If you find that I'm in the right, I think you have some moral obligation both to let me know of this, but also to definitely let Anthony know as well by approaching him or reaching out to him and criticizing him for his wrongdoing or wrong position. It is in the overall scope of things important, so do not ignore this. If there's any need for me to follow up, I will do this. That's it. I wrote to her as a quick follow-up in the top there, and she ended up writing back, oh, we'll see how interesting this gets. I write to her here saying, also just so you know, I'm having to post things like this onto Craigslist to get anyone to be willing to help, to be a witness on my issues with Anthony even. This is the kind of stuff I have to post. I always need moral witnesses. Help. Serve your godly duty. Pay you money. Serve your godly duty. People are trying to screw me. Get them back. Make God's law manifest. Live. Stop being dead. Arise, resurrect, you sleepheads. Further, in addition to funding this, I'm in need of tremendous improvement of funds. I don't know why I worded it that way. And yet, despite this, I don't even say anything to you. I literally borderline starve and have enough just to eat and spend basic time living day to day very frugally according to my own capacity. Yet, I'm so mad at you out of dignity I force myself for weeks upon weeks at a time to refuse to take any cent extra from you other than what comes in as a very base set of funds, family funds that go just to make sure that I don't starve. Other than that, I don't even live in comfort. No one's helping me. I'm mentally, neurologically fucking having a hard time in this way. Neurologically, for sure. Who's helping me? And I say that, do you understand finally? Can you appreciate how mad I am at you if this is the case, that I don't even take any extra cent from you other than what I need in order to not go insane? Yeah. Let's all consider this. And now, finally, what does Barbara write back? We considered all the points that we raised coming up to this point. Well, here we go. Here we have it. I skimmed through it earlier, so I got the gist of it. I'm going to read it super slow, going through it with a fine-tooth comb. Now, let's evaluate. Now we're going to both evaluate together to see, audience, this is live, fresh, what is happening? What's her instinct? Is she going to say, yeah, you're right, or I really need to consider it? If it's possible that you could be right, I should really just start to look how I could be wrong, my son, I understand. Do we see any of that? Let's find out. She says, hi, thank you for your email. What I want to let you know now is that I was diagnosed in my country with aortic stenosis. This is a very dangerous condition of the heart. Yeah, I remember a year ago she went and she had some issue with her thyroid. And now apparently she has another issue as well. That's a dangerous condition of the heart. Wonder why these things happen to people. Huh. Amazing. Does it all connect? I wonder. Bet it does. Oh, she wants us to feel sorry for her. Oh, so she's going to treat you like you're not human, and then she wants us to be sorry for her. Because she wants to frame it like, you will be sorry for me. Yeah, sure. If you don't treat me like I'm human, you're not human to me. And now you will find out what it really means when the age of Moshiach will be pure justice and no kindness any longer, which is good. Exactly as it's strongly suggested and stated in the Talmudic sources, rabbinical sources. Good. Now you understand what it means finally. Cowering for centuries and millennia behind the frame, the glow of fucking confusion that you left your eyes crossed this whole time. No one could see anything straight. You're all under delusion. Time to wake you all up worldwide. You're all done. She continues to state here, we'll probably need the valve replacement if I want to live a few years longer. Yeah, I remember my father had a stent in his heart put after a heart attack. He was dead within 4 or 5 years after that from heart failure. She says this condition is worse than cancer. Kills people very fast. This is the first time I'm hearing about this, by the way, today, here. That's it. You get me? I hurt you, son, but now I want you to feel sorry for me as my sucker way to escape taking responsibility. No, even unto death you will take responsibility, or have your death. Now God is so happy with me. You have no idea how brightly God is smiling upon us today. Today, February 7th on 2024, is a beautiful, spiritual, godly holiday, I would say. Because on this earth today, one human being realizes the deepest God truth of all. Pure, strict justice. You know how the devil tests man? I'm going to make your mommy hurt you. Then God's going to give her the disease she deserves, and I'm going to twist her mind, and she's going to pump this out to you in a more of a womanly framework. Will you bend? Will you bend? Will you start getting weak, man? No. Man will not be stooping any lower anymore. So while the alligator tears and the playing possum continues, and she says, this condition is worse than cancer. Kills people very fast. Survival rate is not good. Let me tell you, people who know me, I may sound unempathetic here within context. I'll tell you the truth. If you know me, unless you are guilty against me, I can't even say it about myself, because I don't even want to say it about myself, but people have known me to be and felt me to be some of the most empathetic that they've ever seen anyone be in life. But it cuts off. It's binary. It cuts off immediately. If you're a wrongdoer, you are human feces in a human-shaped body. even if you're the mother, even if you're the father. That is the standard. That is what God loves. He says, yes, good. I never told you to honor your mother and your father, even if they're crap. The rabbinical authorities figured this out. Took them a few millennia to have the courage to frame it out that way, but finally, look, we can't endorse blind honoring. We just can't do it anymore. That's what they eventually put forth within the last several hundred years or so. It's true. Wake up. Do you have the courage to see it now? She continues to state here, I have other issues, but this one is the worst. Well, I just want to let you know, I'm not in the position of having fights and disagreements right now. So first she's going to do wrong, and then when you go back to rebuke her properly, I'm not in the position now. Magic words, more magic words. But they doesn't end if the magic words are, I have cancer. If the magic words are, I have heart failure. They don't have morality. They only have magic word addiction. Nothing is sacred with them. They'll go any level they have to. You know how they say a real bad opiate drug addict will do the worst things, will stab his own grandma in order to get the fucking drugs? Women are like this. They'll do anything. They'll do anything to get their way. Get it? Satan programming. So she simply says, I need to have peace, not wars. I'm not sorry for anything. I'm just telling you I need peace, not wars. Whenever you're right and she's wrong, it's, don't argue. I wanted peace, and then she kept giving me wars September through October of last year, 2022. That ended up having her to be blocked. So where was mine? I said peace, please, and she said, no, I'm going to drive you crazy, till the point that she got blocked. And now, God puts you in a position where you are led to say, peace, peace. Yeah, the one who stole now says, please don't steal from me. It's not quite that, but you understand the irony. No, with the measure that you measure, it will be measured back unto you, as Christ said again. And he has a lot of good sayings, funny enough. Got to give him credit where it's due. We continue. She says here, I asked us to resolve our issues, but you said no to it. Ladies and gentlemen, audiences and witnesses, I bring you forth and ask you right now, everybody who's been watching this. Is this a fair statement for her to make, or is this complete horse shit? I asked for us to resolve our issues. You said no to it. So you're at fault. You're wrong. I evade responsibility. She wants to magically pass the fault to me. Excuse me. Did I say no to us resolving our issues? Wow, what a conflation mind job in her mind. How does me properly rejecting a disingenuous apology, quote unquote, from her, that's not even an apology, translate so that it is a fair representation to make that it means that she came up to me to resolve her issues and I said no, as if I'm the one who's bad. I'm not having it anymore. Anyone with a brain can see it with eyes, thank God. She continues, my letters before Christmas was good. My letter before Christmas was good. Anthony said it's not good. I said it's not good. ChatGPT said it's not good. And then I said again that it's not good. But she argues some more. No, I say it's good, so it's good. Why? Because I say it's good. That's why. The devil never ends. And good and sincere. It had the best intentions. Too bad you didn't. She actually says to me, too bad you didn't see it. No, it's not too bad for me. Thank God that I saw it properly. Otherwise, I'd be subject to more of your sicknesses. What stupid idiot, letting the Trojan horse back in through my gate so you could kill me some more? She continues to say, I think we should put stop to these fights right now before it's too late. It already is too late. You're the one. I responsibly put a stop to these fights by getting a witness and ensuring that we don't speak if you're not able to properly repent. What the fuck, mind blow? This is like dog, this is help. You get it? Fucking idiots. Why am I subjected to this? Wake up. Do your duty. Witnesses. Fuck, drives you crazy to be fucking fed this shit. No, you'd better stop it right now, before it's too late. As if I'm doing something wrong. I'll kill all of you! Except I won't really. I'm just saying that out of emotionality. But you're making me feel that way. So fuck you for fucking dreaming and make me feel that way, you pieces of shit. You deserve death. God obviously gave you this fucking problem you have for a reason. I want everyone in the world to... I want 8 billion people smiling at me for how beautifully this is being done. Mwah. Learn. None of you will do it again or you all suffer the same fate. I will make justice on this earth. Oh, I cannot fucking wait. Oh, God, you watch. So, without regarding anything I said previously up till now, she simply says, now, why don't we meet this weekend? Have some resolution. That'll be productive. Even though she doesn't merit it. So, lady, get this. If you walk out of our meetings before, back in September, which you did, in a way that wasn't merited, then you need to first admit that you were wrong about having done that and sufficiently atone to the point that we can... Oh, but you did that again in May before that, where we gave you another chance after you apologized, so that we gave you the second last shot in September, and then you did it again to our faces. Fucking wow. Wow. You can't make this shit up. Yeah, you don't get to meet with me until you apologize for the wrong cancellation of previously when I let you even be able to meet with me. Use your moral logic. Oh wait, women don't have any usually. If you don't want to meet, we could call each other. Have some kind of agreement to put all the negativity behind us. Wow. So I said to her, clearly, you need to finish watching all these videos before anything can even be possible. Completely without acknowledging this, just, no, we're going to meet this weekend now, right? No, you obviously have no respect. I poop on this. Disgusting. My letter before Christmas was good. Oh, we read this already. She continues on. This is all garbage. You see, it doesn't get better, it gets worse, but this is the test. The litmus test is how these narcissists and cluster B personality trait bearing people respond to you. How would a responsible person who's actually empathic and neurotypical, where they realize they've done wrong, or they should, they go, oh my God, I'm sorry. Ah, that's the part that's missing. So you'll never have your son because you closed it off, not him. It's not my fault. None of this is my fault. Every single piece that you see is the woman's fault here, Barbara. The mother's fault. She continues to state here, I don't work now since November. I have no income now until mid-May. I can help you as much as I can from family funds, but I cannot support you for a long time. It's not going to work. I understand. I fully agree. I pray that God will set me the right way. I have brain damage. No one's helping me. Need to make an application for disability. No one's helping me. Need to get the diagnosis. Need a special MRI to make that happen. No one's helping me. Help me or suffer. World, Earth, you will be under my jurisdiction, and you will earn the karmic price. You give me jurisdiction to rule over you when you collectively allow bad things to happen. You have no idea how God's hardened your hearts on purpose, like he hardened Pharaoh's hearts. He hardened all your hearts to give me the jurisdiction to kick your asses later at the end. On the grand stage you will see. She continues here. This is the huge reason you need to put all your energy to be diagnosed. I'm trying, but the regular routes don't work, so I've been trying to get people to help me in ways that are beyond what I'm capable of doing easily on my own. Hello? Somebody fucking help me, but you're not allowed to help me if you're in default against me. Then you have to be cut off. See the problem you have? But she's trying to act like the good person. See, I wanted good. Come on, get the treatment, get the treatment, get the treatment. Remember, she used the word treatment for when I was taken out here by the police so I could get treatment. I didn't get treatment. A waste of fucking time. Her idea of treatment is there's something wrong psychologically. No. If I have brain damage from multiple downstream complications that started from the fucking coma that I had, that's just you needing to learn how to be a good mother to your son and nothing else. Idiot woman. I hold this up as in sacrifice to my God. I would put this woman on an altar and fucking sacrifice her to my God. He's taken her already. It's just a matter of time. I want everyone to see this. Look. Sin doesn't pay. I worship God, not mommy. Get it? Good. There will be a crown on my head. You can believe it. God will ensure. Just wait. Just a little bit of time left before that happens. Very few minor things need to happen, and then it will happen. We continue. Get the treatment. Apply for disability very soon. See, follow my idea. Do what I'm telling you. I'm a good mommy when I'm telling my broken sonny what to do. Of course I'm right. How can I apologize for anything? Cuckoo. Get legions of people to break through to her mind. Legions. Formations of 1,000 by 1,000 knocking on her door every day of multiple rounds. Help me. Learn your roles, humans. This is what God wanted all along, you corrupt pieces of crap. Purify yourselves. But you can't do it yourselves. It'll be done unto you. And she's explaining to me, right now, Social Security pays for rent. $1,000 starting this year. Right now, you can get this offer. My idea is great. Follow me. No, you don't. My God tells me all bad people must never be followed. You can't win, but you're also retarded. You don't understand what the fuck it means to have 100. I'm not even gonna tell you how high my IQ is. It's too high, but not high enough. No. Let me tell you. At the super high level it's rated, it's not even correctly reflecting what it really is. You're not understanding. I can smell fucking everything. No other human being can fucking do that. No IQ represents that. The level of advancement I have transcends IQ. You're not getting it. So she's telling me, this will be perfect solution for you. That's why I'm allowed to treat you like this. Because you're just a project. Not a person. Also, I'm going to tell you that your apartment needs to be clean. Since there's some terrible smell coming from it. People complaining. Good. Smell it till you all drop fucking dead from the fucking smell. Just like you leave me in this fucking apartment. I'm the one you left in this apartment to smell my own shit. Piling up on the floor here.
Hey humans, it's Hannah. Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, I do videos on creepy and disturbing things. Today we're talking about Lacey Ellen Fletcher. This was a video that my patrons actually voted on over there. So the lack of information about who Lacey Ellen Fletcher was as a person is very tragic in itself. But the way that she would pass away in the most deplorable conditions you can possibly imagine is more tragic than anything. We're going to talk about how Lacey Ellen Fletcher was found by authorities on a couch that she had been sitting on for 12 years straight, at least. So
I featured a news article covering a little more extensively that case of Lacey Fletcher, who I have a tremendous amount of empathy and compassion and sadly relatability to as well. I feel very bad for that girl, what happened to her, and very angry at those parents. I cover that featured within one of my videos within this playlist earlier, within this playlist. The conditions the manner I'm being treated in is comparable to the way Lacey Fletcher is being treated by her parents. Are you getting it? I'm not gonna die though, and I'm more functional than she was, thank God for me, at least as good, though I'm very sad for what happened to her. And good things will come out of this. This is all about teaching the lessons for humanity that need to be learned now. But she says, do you smell it? Do you clean it? Lady, I'm going to tell you the level that I work at, okay? My mother came down here in September of 2022, where she was helping to wash some dishes that she had offered to help with, so I allowed her. She came in, she was washing it, and then an argument broke out. Exactly. She says, "Oh, don't call my boyfriend an idiot." And we're arguing to each other, and then she just gets up and abruptly leaves. Texts me days later, says, "Okay, you will have to just clean the stuff that I left, because I won't do that," even though she said she would. Oh, excuse me. But you you had no right to argue with me about that in that way and to do all that. So me washing those dishes is me agreeing that you were right. That whole bucket is still standing in the same spot on the kitchen to this fucking day. Yeah, you get the level I fucking operate at? When I fucking decide nothing moves, nothing fucking moves till you bend the fucking knee. Nothing fucking moves. Until you pay. You will break first, you fucking evil pieces of shit. Nothing bends. Rah, rah. Fucking get it? Idiots. That is the dignity that God put into every man's heart and mind. You evil will be crushed, God willing. That won't be easy. And there will have to be a lot of suffering on this earth. We already know. This is high rabbinical knowledge. All the twistos will be ended. Trust me. And of course, if you need help, I could arrange someone to do it. Have some more things from me. I will take care of it. Super mommy, aren't I great? Someone solve this and help, but not in the way you think. Some of you are dumb. Do exactly what I say, nothing else. Then you will win. Don't do moral. Moral is the law. Everything else is lesser. Moral is the only law. That's why people suicide for dignity. Good, let them, because it's dignity. Although there's other aspects. I don't fully necessarily endorse that, but there's an aspect of that I endorse. As I said, I don't think anyone should do that. Actually, for a different reason. But when somebody does something for their dignity, dignity is the key. You don't understand? I'll get you assistance once or twice a month, help you manage everything. Not from you. I'll get one for myself if I get the resources to do this. I don't want anything from you, because you're evil. Will this work for you? Also, I don't want you to be hungry. Are you still getting food stamps? With some little financial help I give you, that should be enough for now. I know you don't want food now, but once we reconcile, lady, you're not on the track to reconcile, it doesn't look like. Help! Someone help solve this woman's broken brain. I want the best for you, so that's why everything is great. You should work very hard in the next month or two to put you better position, get the help you need. Yeah, it's all about getting him help. Lady, you don't appreciate or understand what the nature of the situation is that I'm living with and dealing with. Why would I trust her to do anything? I'm constantly trying to... We're going to the mall, right? No, we're going to the hospital. Well, we're going to the mall, right? No. Subtly trying to steer the car to the left. Wait, why are we turning here? Shh, shh, shh. See, it never ends with this type. Sick fucking woman. You're not getting it. So she says here, more fights just lead to more problems we don't need. Yeah. Lack of accountability. Oh, so let's review this whole thing. Did she apologize here anywhere? No, I don't think so. Just trying to blame shift. No, don't make more fights. Really? Am I making fights? Or am I giving you correct rebuke for proper accountability? Okay. I'm tired of spending a year, many hours a day recording these videos so that people, and they don't understand anything. And witnesses come, don't understand nothing. We're going to turn to more witnesses. Are you going to understand now, broken lady? What the fuck's happening? Jesus. Let me know if you're on the same page, she continues. We could end this ongoing problems and disagreements in one day. You can't end it in one day. Your atonement will take 20 years already naturally because of how seriously fucking betraying your issues were, that you wouldn't be trusted for about as long. See the problem you created? She continues, I can't afford paying someone to be third person to listen to all the videos and give their opinion. Sure you can. Figure it out. I turned to Craigslist, $50. I got someone to watch it for 18 hours. You could do it. You could do it for a lot cheaper than you think. Hell, pay someone from India to do it for super cheap rates too. There's people around us here in New York who have a, for private contract, not as an employee wage rate, it wouldn't work, but for a private contract, it's doable. Offer whatever contract rate you want. I could offer you food. That's right. Mommy wants me to go suck on the tit again, even though I was told I didn't even get breastfed properly. But that's basically the program. She wants to everything is good when you come back and just take all these things. Here, have more, because the mind's broken. Come on, let me just give you all these things, even though I'm not really sorry for anything. Unbelievable. She says, let's work on apology and moving forward this weekend. Let's work on the apology. I see no signs of any apology being genuine from here, nor did I condone or endorse. This is more frame control bullshit. Oh, I'm going to tell you how it's going to happen. I never said we're meeting this weekend, stupid woman. But if you got every indication in the world that I'm never going for that, then just because you're trying to talk this way to me, more indignation. You're guilty again. Because you're not being yin. You're trying to drive the car, stupid bitch. Run yourself under the tire. I have no shit. I'd be on the middle of the fucking Super Bowl's halftime saying this fucking shit. If you're alive and you're not watching this, you're not good enough. Not until 8 billion people have seen this and are bowing will this be correct. Get it. You will learn. She continues on, lastly, finally. I was always there for you. No, you're not. The twistos never end. Someone beat in her skull to death, figuratively speaking only, for her daring to dream up, to form up these flaming twists to fire at them at this stage in the game. No problem. More Flamo Twistos. No, the Flamo Twistos, stop. I'd rather be in jail in peace than alive here with this. Why do you think all of men are like this? Why do you think all men murder? Because you're evil. Because we have dignity. You will be fucking taught what it means to regard people's dignity. I'm done. She says, it's about time. Yeah, she feels like, God, I did a good job. That was a great email I wrote. Now, no, it's not. You're not getting it. You don't really know how to give the proper gasoline to the proper... Jet fuel is for jets. Gasoline's for cars. You keep switching them, idiot. Fucking worthless.